Hey guys, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video, you'll be learning all about modifiers. So what is a modifier? Modifiers give us more info about why, how, or when something happened. Modifiers can also describe how something looks or how an action took place. Modifiers can also describe nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. In this video, I'll be discussing and elaborating on the different types of modifiers, which can be adjectives, adverbs, phrases, and clauses. First, let's define adjective, and then we'll talk about how adjectives are used as modifiers. Adjectives give us more information about nouns. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So our example says the airplane was loud. In this sentence, airplane is the noun and loud is the adjective. Airplane is a thing and loud is describing the noun, which is the airplane. So our first example of an adjective being used as a modifier says, she had a sudden urge to buy some fruit. As you can see, sudden is an adjective in this sentence, and it's also the modifier because it's given us more information on the urge. So sudden is modifying the verb urge. Our second example of an adjective being used as a modifier says, her pink boots kept coming untied. As you can see, pink is the adjective in this sentence because it's describing the noun, which is the boots. And it's also the modifier in this sentence because it's given us more information on how the boots look. Next, we'll define adverb, and then we'll talk about how adverbs are used as modifiers. An adverb describes a verb, which is an action word, an adjective, which describes a noun, or another adverb. Common types of adverbs are adverbs of place, adverbs of time, and adverbs of frequency. So, for our examples of adverbs, first we have, she quickly ran to the store. Quickly is the adverb in this sentence. It's describing how she ran to the store. So it doesn't just say she ran to the store, it says she quickly ran to the store. In the example, he screamed loudly, it doesn't just say he screamed, it's telling you how he screamed. So loudly is the adverb. So our first example of an adverb being used as a modifier says, the movie theater closed 10 years ago. So the sentence doesn't just say the movie theater closed, it says the movie theater closed 10 years ago. So 10 years ago is giving us more information about when the theater closed. 10 years ago is modifying the verb closed. So our second example of an adverb being used as a modifier says, she went grocery shopping last week. So it doesn't just say she went grocery shopping, it says she went grocery shopping last week. So last week gives us more information on when she went shopping. So last week is modifying the verb shopping. Next, we'll be defining phrases and how they're used as modifiers. We will be discussing noun phrases, verb phrases, prepositional phrases, adverb phrases, and adjective phrases. Also, a side note, out of this whole list, verb phrases is the only type of phrase that can't be used as a modifier. So what is a phrase? Phrases give more info about a subject, action, or event. A phrase can't stand on its own and won't have meaning if it's separated from the sentence. So what is a noun phrase? A noun phrase is two or more words that function as a noun. So the word book is a noun, but a noun phrase would be, my big book is on the table. In this sentence, my big book is the noun phrase. And this could be used as a modifier because if you're saying my big book, you're giving more information on the book. So you're modifying the noun. So what is a verb phrase? A verb phrase is two or more words that function as a verb. So the word eat alone is just a verb, but if I said birds eat worms would be considered a verb phrase because it's two or more words. It's two words. Verb phrases don't act as modifiers, as I mentioned earlier. Now, what is a prepositional phrase? A prepositional phrase is a group of words that begin with a preposition and end with a noun. Prepositions tell us more about the where, the when, and the how. And the examples will be on the next slide. So here are some prepositions just to give you a better idea. By, beneath, under, with, across, near, against, around, etc. And here are some preposition phrases: beneath the car, against the wall, and around the corner. And preposition phrases can act as modifiers. Now, what is an adverb phrase? An adverb phrase is two or more words that function like an adverb to modify other words in a sentence, such as verbs, adverbs, or adjectives. So an adverb would be quickly. An adverb phrase would be she ran extremely quickly, because extremely quickly is two or more words, and we're giving you more information about how she ran. Adverb phrases can definitely act as modifiers. What is an adjective phrase? An adjective phrase is two or more words that function as an adjective and they modify or describe nouns. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So the word ugly is an adjective, but if I said the dog that's ugly keeps barking, that would be an adjective phrase because that's ugly is two or more words. It's two words. And I'm giving you more information on how the dog looks. So here's some examples of phrases as modifiers. In the sentence, my car broke down under the bridge. Under the bridge is a prepositional phrase, and it's also a modifier because it's giving you more information on where my car broke down. In the sentence, my pink purse was stolen, my pink purse is a noun phrase, and it's also a modifier because when we say my pink purse, we're not just saying my purse, we're giving you more information on what the purse looked like. Next, we'll be defining clauses and how they're used as modifiers. A clause is a part of the sentence that has a subject and a verb. Unlike phrases, there are two types of clauses: main clause or independent clause, and subordinate clause or dependent clause. So what is a main clause, also known as an independent clause? A main clause can stand on its own as a sentence and it has meaning. For example, I'm going to school is a full sentence, and I live in a house is a full sentence. Main clauses can act as modifiers. So what's a subordinate clause, also known as a dependent clause? A subordinate clause has a verb and a subject. It's also used to add more info to a sentence. It relies on the main clause to form a sentence, can be at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. And subordinate clauses can act as modifiers. So here are some examples of subordinate clauses, also known as dependent clauses. In the sentence, when I was 14, I learned how to drive. As you can see, when I was 14 is the subordinate clause because it can't stand on its own as a sentence. In the sentence, I have a car that I only drive to work. As you can see, that I only drive to work is a subordinate clause because it can't stand alone as a sentence. So our first example of a subordinate clause acting as a modifier says, her dog who has a very long tail barked at me. As you can see, who has a very long tail is a subordinate clause, and it's a modifier because we're describing what the dog looks like. So the clause is modifying the noun, which is the dog. So our second example of a subordinate clause as a modifier says, the lady who always wears red lipstick disappeared recently. Who always wears red lipstick is the modifier in this sentence because we're giving you more information on what the lady does. Also, recently is an adverb modifier, but we're not talking about adverb modifiers, so I'm not really paying that any mind. But keep in mind that a lot of these examples, they have multiple modifiers, but I'm only focusing on like the one that we're talking about. So if we're talking about adjective modifiers and there's a adverb modifier, we're just going to focus on the adjective modifier in that sentence, if that makes sense. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Which leads me to our next slide. Keep in mind that a sentence can have multiple modifiers, which is what I just mentioned. For example, in the sentence, my sister who eats a lot of sweets likes eating gummy candy. Who eats a lot of sweets is a modifier. This is actually a subordinate clause modifier, like we just discussed. And gummy is an adjective modifier because it's giving us more information on what the candy tastes like. Well, to me, it's an adjective and adverb modifier because it's giving us more information on what the candy's like, but it's also giving us more information on what she likes eating. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find it informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.